a $279 million tower, never opened, then erased. In the dazzling skyline of Las Vegas, every building tells a story. Some are stories of ambition, risk, and triumph, but others, like the Harmon, are cautionary tales that remain hidden beneath the city's neon glow. Imagine spending nearly $300 million to build a luxury hotel tower, only to never welcome a single guest. No opening ceremony, no ribbon cutting, no bookings, just silence, lawsuits, and eventually, demolition. The Harmon's collapse wasn't just about flawed construction. It was a high-profile failure wrapped in complex legal disputes, engineering missteps, and a rush to ride the Vegas boom of the mid-2000s. Today, in 2025, the Strip is booming again. Mega projects are rising fast, the money is flowing, and tourists are flooding back. But here's the question. Has Las Vegas truly learned from its past? Or are we about to see another disaster hiding in plain sight? Because the Harmon's $279 million collapse just sent Vegas its final warning. Part 1. The Harmon, a dream that never opened. It was supposed to be a crown jewel of the Las Vegas Strip. The Harmon, sleek, modern, and part of the ambitious CityCenter development launched in 2007 by MGM Resorts in Dubai World. This wasn't just another high-rise. It was designed as a 49-story tower, combining a luxury hotel with over 200 high-end condominiums. A statement of power, wealth, and architectural elegance right in the heart of Vegas. Construction began at the peak of the real estate boom. Billboards promised unmatched views, luxury living, and elite hospitality. But behind the scenes, cracks had already begun to form, and not just metaphorically. By mid-2008, structural problems surfaced. Steel reinforcements, the very bones of the building, had been misaligned, misplaced, or missing entirely on multiple floors. The discovery was more than a red flag. It was a full-blown emergency. The Harmon's dream was quietly shrinking. The project halted condo sales. The original 49 stories were reduced to just 28, and yet the damage was already done. By the time the construction stopped, hundreds of millions had already been poured into the building. But the lights never came on. No guests ever checked in. No residents ever moved in. For years, the Harmon stood unfinished, sealed off and surrounded by speculation. To tourists walking by, it was just another tower. To the insiders in real estate and construction, it was a ghost, a silent monument to what happens when speed, scale, and oversight collide. And eventually, Las Vegas made its decision. Between 2014 and 2015, the Harmon was slowly and deliberately dismantled, piece by piece. No implosion, no headlines, just silence. A vision built for the future, erased without ever entering the present. Part 2. Why did it fail? Systemic layers of error. So how does a nearly $300 million tower in the heart of Las Vegas go from spotlight to scrap heap? The answer isn't just one mistake. It's layers of failure, stacked like the very floors that were never finished. At the core was a critical construction flaw. Steel reinforcement bars, or rebar, were improperly placed in the concrete slabs between floors 6 and 20. That might sound technical, but in a building like this, it's everything. Those steel bars are what hold the structure together under pressure. Without them in the right place, the building is vulnerable, not just cosmetically, but structurally. In fact, engineers later determined that a code-level earthquake could cause the Harmon to partially or fully collapse. That's not a hypothetical. That's a warning. And it didn't stop there. A report from the engineering firm Weilinger Associates concluded that the defects were so widespread, the building wasn't even worth saving. But how did it get that far without anyone noticing? That's where the second layer of failure comes in: oversight. Multiple contractors were involved. Design changes were made on the fly, and somewhere between the blueprints and the concrete, accountability got lost. What followed was a legal firestorm. In 2010, MGM declared the building a total loss and fired the general contractor, Perini Building Company. Perini fired back with a lawsuit seeking nearly $500 million in unpaid bills and damages. The courtroom became a construction site of its own, filled with blame, broken contracts, and bruised egos. But at the center of it all stood the Harmon, unfinished, unusable, unwanted. It wasn't just a structural failure, it was a systems failure. A perfect storm of engineering flaws, miscommunication, and a lack of independent review. And the cost? Not just financial, it shook confidence across Vegas and sent a ripple through every major project that followed. Part 3, the aftermath and lessons for Vegas. After the dust settled, both literally and legally, Las Vegas had to face an uncomfortable truth. The Harmon wasn't just an isolated incident. It was a symptom of something bigger. Unchecked ambition, rushed timelines, and fragmented oversight in one of the most high-stakes construction environments in America. But Vegas is nothing if not adaptive. In the wake of the Harmon's collapse, Clark County officials took a hard look at their building protocols. They increased the number of inspectors on major construction sites. They strengthened compliance audits and placed more pressure on developers to undergo third-party structural reviews. The goal was clear: never let another Harmon happen again. And it wasn't just policy on paper. The lessons from the Harmon rippled outward to other projects, like the MSG Sphere, the Fontainebleau Revival, and Resorts World. These developments carried massive price tags, some stretching into the billions. But this time, with stricter engineering oversight, more redundancy, and risk mitigation built into every stage. It didn't make construction easier, it made it smarter. Developers became more cautious, insurers asked tougher questions, and investors demanded greater transparency. Because in Vegas, one failed tower can shake investor confidence across the entire strip. The Harmon, once meant to symbolize luxury, had become a quiet architect of reform. It didn't change the face of Las Vegas, but it reshaped how the city thinks about what's behind the face. The steel, the concrete, the process. The silence of the Harmon spoke volumes, and Vegas listened, at least for a while. Part 4, 2025. Is Vegas heading toward a new warning? Fast forward to 2025. The Las Vegas skyline is changing again, and fast. Towering LED globes, luxury mega resorts, and billion-dollar entertainment complexes now define the Strip's next chapter. Tourism is rebounding stronger than ever after years of uncertainty. Money is flowing back into the city, investors are excited, and developers are once again racing against time to open the next big attraction. But with that momentum comes a familiar risk. Are we repeating the same mistakes? Some experts are beginning to worry. With construction costs skyrocketing and schedules tightening, corners may be cut, not always intentionally, but inevitably under pressure. Add to that a booming luxury real estate market, and you're looking at a possible bubble forming in high-end hospitality. One industry insider recently warned, "We've entered a phase of overconfidence. Vegas believes it can't fail, and that's dangerous." And then there's climate. Las Vegas sits in a region facing extreme drought and rising temperatures. Water scarcity is no longer a future issue. It's a current crisis. How sustainable are these massive resorts if natural resources begin to limit growth? Vegas, in many ways, is built on illusion, from the themed hotels to the air-conditioned streets. But infrastructure isn't a magic trick. It either holds or it collapses. So the question becomes, are we building smarter or just building bigger? Because while the city races ahead, the Harmon skeleton, now gone, still casts a shadow over every new project. The Harmon's $279 million collapse just sent Vegas its final warning. And in 2025, that warning feels more relevant than ever. A tower that never opened, hundreds of millions spent, zero guests, and a skyline forever altered, not by presence, but by absence. The Harmon was meant to be a triumph of modern design and Vegas ambition. Instead, it became a case study in what happens when vision outruns reality. Its collapse wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was quiet, procedural, buried under red tape and reinforced concrete. But make no mistake, it was felt by developers, by regulators, by every investor who now asks, what's the plan if this goes wrong? The Harmon became a symbol, not of failure, but of fragile confidence. And it raised a question Las Vegas must continue to answer in 2025. Are we building dreams or just stacking risks? Because in a city known for second chances, even Vegas can't afford to ignore the lessons of the past. The Harmon's $279 million collapse just sent Vegas its final warning. Will anyone listen? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you want more deep dive stories from America's fast-changing cities, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.